Greetings. Hope that you are doing well and have had a great week. This is my video submission for EDL 556 Technology and Higher Education. I decided to do something different instead of from my usual writing submission or doing a prezi. I decided wanted to do a video discussion for this particular module. So in this video, I'll be discussing the questions and giving my answers to the assignment that you gave us, and hopefully I will not be too long with it and be very clear about my standpoint on the questions. So without further ado, here we go. So of course you gave us 5 questions. The first question was what types of resources would fall into your PLE? Of course, you know what a PLE is. A PLE, which stands for Personal Learning Environment, is a self-directed and involving environment of tools, services, and resources organized by a person seeking a way to accomplish their lifetime learning and also to create and connect with others of similar interests. And the major advantages that the PLE provides is to have a sense of direction for the individual, to stay focused upon narrow down your options and make sure that the process is more methodical, meaning that you are mainly focused upon what the topic or what the subject that you want to do within your PLE. And so, judging from the articles that I read from the assignments, basically, I will have a PLE that focuses upon 3 areas of communication, active learning, and reflection. Communication, of course, is very valuable and very important. So, looking at gathering communication types of tools, of phones and or mobile devices and electronic applications for those mobile devices. Um, having the social media outlets of course, Twitter and Facebook, as well as Instagram, as well as to communicate and see an active learning, social involvement, having things that will be able to afford me to do experiments and challenges with people, with people, with individuals, with their permission, of course, and to gather all that information up and have a reflective tool or resource in order to see what can be done to be better and enhance those things. So that will kind of be my PLE, my personal learning environment. Um, I think the end result will be like something visual to bring everything together. So the second question is, what is your viewpoint on MOOC, MOOCs, which is Massive Open Online Courses? I am very probably the in a sense, like anti-person of online courses, because I do feel as though the traditional face-to-face conversation or face-to-face instruction time with the person and with classmates is more important. It's very important. Understanding I do not, you know, this taught or a massive open online course, because there's a lot of benefits from that. You get to connect with people globally. You do get to earn the credit and credit from an institution, or you do are able to brush up or read or enhance those skills from a business or organization that a person that for the person or the employer does not have time to do. So you're able to get to do that, and if you're done, you don't have to finish the course. You can just move on and get back to your normal activities. And it's also cost efficient at no cost. That's all to me well and great, and the online course has that a lot of that is considered to be the number one thing, and a lot of technology enhances is the word of convenience. It offers a lot of convenience for individuals who do not have time to go and sit down within a traditional based classroom. They do not have time to pay, or they don't have the funds to be able to pay for these, massive seminars and anything. With these types of courses, with this open online course, it basically gives them that insight, like, okay, it's free, it's here, you don't have to take everything, just get what you need and move on. And I mean, and that's great. That's a great advantage. But in terms of educational sense, I mean, to me, that's great for organization. But for a person in higher education, it just takes the fun out of everything. The purpose of having an education, you can be able to interact to your environment and have those and to enhance those other interpersonal skills that you want to see, or those critical thinking skills. And I don't think a lot of online courses are able to do that. That's just, to me, my viewpoint and my opinion upon it. And we also seen within the articles that there's a low completion rate because, again, most people just get what they need and come on. With a traditional course, you can see what's going on and you can be able to get more one-on-one time with the instructor. For my third, for the third question is, would you, would you prefer to work for a nonprofit institution or a for-profit institution, and what influenced your preference for choosing between nonprofit or for-profit? Um, I have more experiences with nonprofits institutions than for-profit institutions. I have a year of for-profit institution experience because the law school that I attended prior to coming to UNCW was a for-profit institution. Um, my preference is nonprofit because based on the book and my own, like on the text and the articles, as well as my own experiences with the two institutions, nonprofit institution is focused more on the student. It's student centered and student based. It focuses on the traditions that the institution may have. It basically gives a person the overall chance of quality education. A person, we want to make sure the return of investment or return on investment is when the student has earned their degree within their area of study, and is doing well within that area, and also gives from that result is be able to be productive and be considered to be a given alumnus to the institution, and that's considered with nonprofits is our return on investment. And again, you have those people that are in place. You have people that are knowledgeable within education in terms of they're very knowledgeable about the education, about the area. Versus with for-profit institutions, you have people that there's some people that are knowledgeable, but they run it as a business. There is no, again, this word, there's no really no personal sense. They're looking more towards money and how much financially it's going to cost. You paying these high tuitions costs for the for-profit institutions, and then you're not getting or granting their results. Prime example. But but before I say the example, but there are certain institutions that for-profit institutions that kind of cater to the students. So this perfect example, my year in law school, I paid $65,000 compared to other institutions, probably nonprofit institutions, private institutions that pay probably close to $40,000 for law school. I'm paying $65,000 law school, but with that 65,000, it gave me every tool that I need to have for the for law school, databases that were accessible to this particular law school that no other law school never had, and gave me professors that were prone and known to the area, years and years of experience, judges that were able to really stay focused, and that's well and good. But now looking at it, and now me leaving, and I still have friends there, for-profit institution, for that being a for-profit institution, like it's run by actual company. It's not backed up by another university. It's run by actual company. It by a private company. Basically, the turnover for professors is horrible. Um, and the bar crashes rate is really bad for this state, for North Carolina. But it doesn't help that North Carolina is the third hardest bar exam in the country. But with for-profit institutions, most institutions, they're online. They're not, to me, they doesn't have that interpersonal skill or that interpersonal knowledge or conflict for students. So being a nonprofit institution, I feel as though we're pretty much we're okay. We're all right. And me wanting to make sure that the student is focused, and make sure that the student is the number one priority, that we make sure we get a greater investment on. That's where I want to be. Um, the next question is, in your opinion, which of the four competencies addressed in our text is higher education fulfilled today, and which competencies should have more attention in higher education? Make this very clear and quick. Critical thinking skill, the critical thinking competency, higher education has done a great job in terms of fulfilling that one, because when you come into college, the main thing that that students we look for is whether the answer is right or wrong. Colleges kind of break that tradition, because that's why we was in high school. We wanted a right answer or a wrong answer. College went towards that and said there is no such thing as a right or wrong answer. There's only an answer that you can be able to enhance, and they want to see more how do you arrive at that answer, the process, what you're thinking about. And that's basically because you're gonna have those skills, you're gonna have those situations in which you have to make a decision, and you have to see how can you arrive at that decision, whether it's being right or the wrong decision, to see what can you really evaluate. I think higher education, we really focus upon that. The only area that I really see that we need some really help on is the ethical standards competency, because we are graduating people, and this is really gonna sound crazy, that does not help us. So there are more standards is out of the way. We do not put in place a lot of ethical courses, or we don't spend a lot of time about a person's moral beliefs and values upon education, or upon that area topic, because they don't see whether or not people can say you can't really teach ethics. You can show situations about it, about ethics and within the profession. Prime example with going to law school, you're in the course with called Intro to Professional Responsibility. Professional responsibility basically is an ethical course. It tells you about all the code of ethics. It tells you about how to be professionally responsible as an attorney, and make sure you do the great job for your client. Same thing with a lot of business degrees. There's one little slitter of course or section in there that talks about how to be ethically responsible, but it goes out the window when it comes time to trying to provide profit or trying to get ahead. That's not technically what we need to do. So that's what we need to really work on, and I think a lot of technology will be able to enhance give those serious situations, stimulations, in order for them to really enhance that ethical standard competency. Which leads me to my final question. To the final question: who do you consider to be an educated citizen, and why do you consider them to be an educated citizen? This is I kind of did not really understand the question, but I think I have a very good opinion upon it now. I would say a person for an educated citizen is basically a person who's well-rounded and knows everything about their path, and able to communicate to the person or to the individuals what they want to do. And the educated citizen would be, to me, a president or a professor of the university who has close contact with the student, because they're gonna matriculate those ideas of being innovative and being able to show those critical thinking skills, to show those ethical standards, to show the beauty and the appreciation of the institution. Um, they're going to transfer all those competencies down towards the students, because the student is, again, is the primary source. It's the return on investment. You want them to have a return on investment. You want them to give back to the university and to the institution, or to that particular degree program. That's what you want to try to do in terms of being an educated citizen. You're basically have all those tools, because the book states, excuse me, and on page 201, it says, when a student wants to learn, the path ahead is easier, and when a student is convinced of the value of the education, their motivation will be different. And that leads to me, in terms of being an educated citizen, it goes directly back to the professor, or to the chancellor, because they are the leaders. They are making sure they have the knowledge, they have the tools, everything that they have, in order to make sure that we are able to go out there and be productive within our fields of study. Um, I think that's all the time I have. That's all the questions. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any questions, just please email me, contact me. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and good luck.